All right, welcome back to the Knives Fast channel. And today we've got two really different knives that could be used for agriculture or self-defense. But the question is, would you use them and for what? This is the Bestech Manta Day, designed by Lucas, who's the 12-year-old son of the Bestech owners. And this is the Cavol Knives Mantis. We have a Cavol style design, and we have a hawkbill or karambit style knife. Now, these are very interesting, not typically things that I would use, but you could see some uses for these, both in different uses. Obviously, self-defense for either one of these, and obviously I am not the expert at all these crazy grips, different grips and things, but you have a kind of a tip down with a lot of belly, and you know what, that does lend itself to some decent cutting. Now, they say this is good for pull cuts. I'm not your pull cut guy. My daddy always told me to cut away from myself. And then this Cavol is a fantastic cutter. Guys, it is really good, but again, not my typical blade shape. Now, I was surprised to find in a little bit of research that this is actually meant, I've often showed a carry of a Cavol or like a self-defense like this, and I was surprised to read that, it's more of a typical like this or like that kind of thing, which I think is not what I expected. But you can see you've got a really nice thumb ramp here, and you can see where that would work, or again for pull cuts like so. But let's just get into the build. These are very dissimilar knives when it comes to how they're built and what they cost. Now, let's just get that out of the way right away. The Cavol Mantis is a $328 knife with L-Max blade steel and titanium bark patterned handles. There are several different versions of this. I will leave a link down below. There's even an Ultim version, which is it's in the $200 range, significantly different price-wise. And then, of course, the Bestech Manta Day here is only $60. And there are several versions, including some serrated versions, which I can see being good for cord cutting and, like I said, just tree pruning and that kind of thing. Both of these, it actually says this is a Cavol. It originated as a Philippine knife that originated in agriculture, which I think is really interesting. So, and obviously we all know about hawkbills in agriculture. So on the Manta Day, you have a very beautiful blade shape here with a gorgeous satin finish. It is designed by Lucas with some help from Ostap Hell, who's a friend of the family. Very cool. It's designed after Lucas's praying mantis that he has as a pet. It is not a reversible clip. It is a not so deep carry wire clip. You got about that much sticking out. Not reversible, no lanyard hole. Has wonderful action. It is a liner lock with full visible liners here, as you can see, steel liners. Our lockup is really nicely done. You do have okay access to the lock bar. It works. Again, not a fall shut kind of action. Great jimping here. And you know what? We do have a 4-finger grip, and we even have a nice little landing pad for your finger right up near the blade. We have an interesting thing here. We do not have a sharpening choil. It just sort of dead ends at the end here, which I think is interesting. A lot of sharpeners are going to find that's going to thicken up in a hurry. And so that's interesting. Good thumb studs, decent placement there, okay? And then on the Cavol, you have this, like I said, gorgeous bark patterned titanium with some sculpting to the handle for like a pinch grip here, or just getting into a nice tight grip. Very nice. You got some jimping on the back side of that flipper, of course, because it's on your flipper. So that gives you a little jimping on your grip, jimping here on the thumb ramp, depending on how you're holding it. Again, I am not the expert in self-defense grips. You do have a much better choil, and again, L-Max steel on this one. Your clip, oh, by the way, wonderful access to the lock bar there, as you can see. Great chamfer. It is a dropper as well. Comes way out to the end. It is dead center. I forgot to show that. Let's go back to the Bestech. It comes pretty close to the end there, and you can see here locked up at about a 15. No lock, rock, or blade play. And now let's do the same thing with the Cavol. No lock, rock, no blade play. Locked up at about a 435 there, I would say. Very, very nice. You saw a minute ago, they both cut pretty decent. Again, not my typical blade shape. They are saying this guy is good for pull cuts. And again, I have not tested that and probably won't. But again, you could see using it to, go on like if you had a tree limb here that you wanted to prune off, you could see that. Same thing for that guy. You could do the same kind of thing. So if you measure these up to our normal comparison knives, here is your Ontario Rat 1. Wow, a lot bigger than both. And you can see here the Rat 2 is very close to that size. Now, another interesting comparison, at least for the Cavol Mantis, is the Shieldin scythe. This is designed by DC Blades, Justin, and shoot, can't remember the gentleman's name from Old Squirrel Knives, but Shieldin knife, very, very cool. You can see that one is a lot smaller. There is an XL version that I haven't gotten a hold of yet. Much less expensive model here than the Cavol there. Now, I will leave links down here to both, but let me just give you specs real quick. We'll start with the Bestech Mantis. This guy is 6.94 inches overall with a 2.94 inch blade with a 0.12 inch blade thickness, blade stock, if you will. Black G10. The steel is, gotta fly again. They call it a Hawkbill. It's in 14C28N. It is 3.39 ounces, of course, for $60. And the Cavol Mantis is also made in China by Cavol. $328, absolutely. And it is wow, Casey, if I can get the words out of my mouth. It is an L-Max blade, and of course, they're going to give me the measurements in millimeters. So we're going to get our awesome measuring device out here, and we're going to call this 2.5 on the blade cutting length, and right at 2 3/4 on the overall. We're going to call it, the grip here is just under 4 inches, and the overall handle length is right at 4 inches, and the overall length is right at 7 inches. So really cool, and let's just get unprepared for this, but let's get a quick weight as well. I want to say 3.5 would be my guess. 3.14. We got pi going on. Very, very cool. So there are your two totally different than normal Knives Fast knives here. These are probably not ones I would normally go after or try to own. What about you guys? Do you have a use for these? I would love to know what your prescribed use for these would be. Do you have something like this? Do you have something like this Shieldin scythe? Would love to hear from you on that. Let me know. Very aggressive looking, very cool looking, and thanks guys for checking them out, and thanks for Lefty passing them around. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and thank you for watching the Knives Fast channel.